Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Rebecca, the founder and CEO of Fount of Grace Creatives. Thank you for joining us on another round of Fired Up Author Speaks. If you're joining us live, do put in a hashtag live in the comments. And if you're catching us on replay, put in a hashtag replay. And we'd also love to know where you're joining us from. So, as you all know, Fired Up 2 Author Speaks sessions that we're doing now is about authors who have gone through difficult times and have thrived. They have shared all their vulnerable moments and are here to share their stories with you. So today we have Vanessa Bryson. She's a certified speaker, trainer, and coach. And she's faced many people would call unwinnable situations, a lot of uphill battles. She's been battling cancer for the last 5 years, but she's winning, she's thriving, and she's here joining us in a short break as she has to go back to the hospital tomorrow. But thank you so much, Vanessa, for joining us. Welcome to the Author Speaks.
Thanks for having me. Good to see you again.
Yeah, same here. Um, so, Vanessa, you can start with sharing a little bit about yourself and your story.
Well, like you mentioned, I've been battling cancer the last 5 years. In May of 2017, I was diagnosed with stage 3 metastatic ovarian cancer. And that June, started chemotherapy and have pretty much been in chemotherapy this whole time until this past June 2nd. The um, chemotherapy that I was on was the last one available to me, according to my genetic profile, that they felt would put me in remission. But it was tearing my body down worse than the cancer was. So after 4 rounds of that chemotherapy, I decided that this wasn't for me. And I was going to seek alternative methods that have been proven successful, not necessarily in the eyes of the medical field, but in the naturopathic field. And so I've started that different route. And I had gotten about a month of the treatment in me. And then I had fluid overload that started in November, but has gotten progressively worse. So that landed me in the hospital the first part of July. And I spent 9 days in the hospital. And I've been home for a week now. And they still can't get the fluid off of me quick enough. So I'm going back to the hospital tomorrow, and I have to stay 3 days, and then they'll admit me to an inpatient rehab facility to do more extensive therapy to get the fluid off of me, because it's in my abdomen and my chest and my legs. So it's the legs part has affected me being able to be mobile. So I'm bedbound right now. And the abdominal and thoracic cavity section makes me short of breath. So it's hard to talk and to breathe. So they're going to work on getting that off of me. And hopefully, once that happens, I can get back on my regimen and turn this around, because I've talked to many ladies that have done this treatment that had stage 4 ovarian cancer and are now cancer free. So I do have a lot of faith in the process, and I'm just anxious to get back to it. But um, we got to take care of this minor setback first.
Yeah. And thank you so much for joining us despite you're not feeling all that well today. Thank you. And it's really an inspiration to see you, uh, continue to be strong and fighting on different uh, aspects. And even though chemo is not something that you're going in for, you're trying alternate methods and they are helping you, and I'm sure you'll be absolutely fine and back to normal very, very soon.
That's a prayer. And, I talked to 2 or 3 people this morning already that have been encouraging me and actually telling me how I've encouraged them, which still just blows my mind. And they all say we're praying for you, and I say that's great, but I want you to pray for healing. It's great that you're praying for me, but pray for healing, um, because I firmly believe, I have believed from the beginning that this is not going to be what kills me. Um, Although the last month has been kind of difficult, I will say that. Um, but I still know that this is not what I'm going to die from. And there's still work here to be done. And apparently, I'm the one to lead the work. So I've got to be in workable form. And so that's why I'm going to go back to the hospital and start over again and see what we can get worked out to carry on.
Yeah, absolutely. It is very encouraging, and so we'll keep this author speaks a little short so that you don't need to exert too much. And so, like you were mentioning about your story, fighting cancer for the last 5 years and championing and winning against it, and you know that it'll not take you down. That is there. So, we pray with you that it all comes to pass and you emerge victorious at the other end of this soon. Um, so, like when you were writing this chapter, um, like 5 years, how were you able to condense it all into, you know, 2,000 words?
It was hard because I'm a talker. So it was hard to do that. But I just um, I just kept in the forefront of my mind that it wasn't me telling this story. It was the Lord telling me what to tell, because He knows who's going to read this, and He knows what they need to hear to prosper and to stay steadfast in their journey. So I just kept saying, take me out of it and let me hold the pen and you write the story. So that made it a little bit easier. And it was very enlightening then to reread what I had written and realize that it really wasn't from me. It was from him. Um, some of the things that were written, I didn't I didn't even recall thinking, but when I read them in the passage, I knew that that was something that God had written on that paper for the person that it's meant for, when they get the book to read it. So that's um, that's a very humbling feeling to see and witness firsthand. Um, Being that open and letting God use you that vulnerably, um, that was just a very interesting moment, because I think so many of us, sometimes we think, God's busy. He doesn't have time for me, or He's not hearing my prayers, or um, you know, other people have worse situations, and he's helping them. He doesn't have time to do for me. And to see something so simple as just give me the words to say, and he provided those. Um, it's just very refreshing to see that he's there. You know, if you don't think he's there, it's not because he moved; it's because you moved. Because he's always there. He's around 24/7, 365 days a year, and you just have to ask for help. You just have to uh, surrender the things that are troubling you at the foot of the cross and give them to him and say, I can't carry this burden. I'm going to give it to you, and I'll walk with you, and we'll work out the process. So that's what I've been doing. And some days it's hard. I had a pity party the other day, and I called one of my girlfriends and just cried and cried and cried. And she talked me off the ledge and, reminded me whose daughter I am, and, that I'm the daughter of the king. And, I'm not facing this alone. And it's, you have to surround yourself with uh, support people that are going to lift you up when you're too tired to lift yourself up. And you have to just block your, um, protect your mind, and keep the devil out of it. Keep all those negative thoughts at bay. And, if you have a negative thought, turn it around with a positive thought, or contradict it with something positive, and just put it out of your mind. Um, our mind is a miraculous organ, and we can do so many things if we just put our mind to it and keep our head in the game. And that's really what this battle's been all about, is just keeping my focus on the Lord, and remembering that there's a purpose to everything in life. And I am going through this for a reason. God knew this was my path before I was ever born. And when I was diagnosed, I decided that I was going to walk that path in faith, and um, proudly, because he evidently thinks I'm a pretty super girl to have struggled through all this. And um, I'm still here, so I'm proving I'm tough. Some days I didn't know I was as tough as I am, but I am looking forward to the day that I can go, oh yeah, I remember when I had cancer, instead of still having cancer. So um, I I look forward to the day that I have my smile back, that's not toothless, and that I have my health back, and that I can just carry on with the dreams that I had and the plans that I had. So that's what I try to stay focused on.
Absolutely. And that's going to come sooner than you know it. And God has definitely a purpose for all our pains, and He'll never push us beyond the threshold that we can take. And it was like so wonderful hearing you describe that, how He uses us as His vessels for sharing, His grace in our lives, and how you know it flows through our words, be it spoken, be it written. And I hope this encouraging testimony of yours spreads that light to a lot and lot of people. uh, so is I'm sure there are a lot of people who are going through a similar tough phase, and yes, God speaks through us, and keep keeping the faith. Yeah. There are a lot of people are going through a similar situation, but uh, there are a lot of days when they just feel like giving up, when things are not going the way that they want to, when their uh, health might not be that great. So, how would you challenge them? How would you encourage them uh, in such a situation?
Well, first, I want to let them know that it's okay to feel that way. This is hard, and there are many dark thoughts that come when you don't feel as good today as you did yesterday. But you have to remember that you're fearfully and wonderfully made. You're made for a purpose. And, maybe your purpose is to just be the role model to show people that you can get through this with grace and perseverance, and that you can do it with a smile on your face. You don't have to be sad and crying all the time. And joy can be found in the struggle. Um, there's something great that comes out of every day. No matter how bad I feel that day, there's a blessing in every day. And, so the days that I feel my worst, I just lay here and think about the blessings that have happened that day. And I just say, thank you, Lord, that I don't feel 100% today, but I've had the blessing of two great phone conversations with friends across the country, or I've had a great visit with a friend I hadn't seen in a couple of years. I continually find what there is to be thankful and grateful for in each day because it's there. And I think when you stop looking for those things, you go down a very dark rabbit hole that's too hard to climb out of. And none of this is meant for anybody to suffer. It's only the struggles that we're going through are to either teach us a lesson or to provide us a blessing. And when you try to look at them that way, it makes them easier to go through because you don't you're not looking at them as a place of punishment. So many times people, when bad things happen, they feel like God's punishing them. But that's not who God is. God's not a God of punishment. He's a God of love. And you have to look at your struggle from the eyes of love. And um, an example that came to mind just now is my first round of chemotherapy. When my hair fell out, I never wore a wig or anything. And I went into the chemo room one day, and my friend Judy was there, and she had always worn a hat and a wig. And she told me, she said, I think I'm going to take my hat off. And I said, oh, really? Why? She said, because you've inspired me that it's okay to be bald. And I thought, I'm just here living through my journey with happiness. And I inspired her through that. So I think if you can live through your circumstance with thankfulness and joy, then that attitude is what's going to inspire others. And it's just a byproduct of you going through the struggle you're going through. But I can't tell you how many times that I may have been in a dark place that I remember Judy saying that to me. And that brings me out of that place because I saw then that God was using me to help her further her walk and her journey. And that just gives you a sense of peace. It's, I know so many people that I talk to say that they just get this diagnosis and they just basically go home and wait to die. And, you know, I don't want to die. I want to see my grandchildren, and I want to see my son grow up to be old man. He's 31, but I want to see him grown and have his own family and, do his own thing. And I'm not looking to die. I'm not afraid to die because I know where I'll go, but I still have things here to do. So when me just living as truthfully as I can through my struggle inspires people, then that gives me encouragement that I'm here for a purpose still. And I think as long as you feel like you're here for a purpose, you continue to have that fight in you. And that's what keeps us going is the fight. If you don't you don't get rid of things that are being of benefit is kind of how I look at it. So um, as long as I can still be productive and offer comfort and support to people in this situation or other situations, then I'm glad to do it. Um, some days I wonder why he picked me to do it, but he evidently thought I was capable. So um, I just have to go in faith and believe that I'm going to represent him the best way that I can, and that he's going to honor um, that obedience. And I'm praying he's honoring it by healing me.
Absolutely. As you're running your race, all the other people along on this journey who are, looking at you, getting inspired and encouraged by your journey and your, you know, uh, not giving up spirit. Like in Proverbs, also it says that life and death are in your words. So if people take all that negativity into them and not try to look at positivity, that itself would bring them down, lower their immunity and all. But having that faith, the hope, that is so important. And I'm sure you're encouraging many people. Uh, so, do you have some cheerleaders who have been there on your journey, and you'd like to give a shout out to them?
Oh yeah, I have lots of cheerleaders. Um, Wendy, Wendy and Laura, um, they're great friends. They text me, check on me, pray for me. Um, I've got two girlfriends, both named Trisha. I'm in daily contact with them. My sister-in-law Julie, she sends me music every day to listen to, and she's been praying for me from day one. And Natasha, my business coach, uh, she keeps a check on me and prays for me. And uh, she called this morning and gave me a pep talk because she had heard I had a rough week earlier. And just I've got a great circle of friends. Just um, family and friends. And Miles, my son's been awesome. Um, he's the primary caregiver with me here at home, and um, you know, it's not a job I wanted him to have at 31, but he's doing a really good job. And uh, my girlfriend this morning said it's because I raised him, so I guess I raised him right with a good heart. So yeah, it's you've got to have that prayer team around you for sure to survive this, because some days are so bad that you just don't know what words to say to pray for yourself, and you need to. I can just send a message and say I need some prayers, and I could name 10 or 15 people that would be praying for me, and that's priceless. So friends is not something I have a shortage of, so that's good. And then I have my teal support group um, here locally. We meet once a month. It's teal is the ribbon color for ovarian cancer, so we're the teal ladies, and we do a monthly Zoom support group and catch up with each other. And then I've got friends that bring meals by and they'll pray with me, and so we've got a great support system, and I wouldn't trade it for the world.
That's awesome. I've seen some of your Facebook posts where you keep posting about receiving some small gifts and cards that all your
Yeah,
friends have been sending.
yeah, and I've got them lined all across the mantle here. I'm in the living room in my hospital bed, and we've taped all the cards across the fireplace mantle and around the windows. So and then when I go back to the hospital, I have a coloring book that's Bible verses that I take with me, and we tape those up in the hospital room. So people know when they come in my room where they're stepping into.
That's wonderful. So I think I said we'll wrap up soon, but we are almost at the almost reaching 30 minutes. So I'll just talk a little bit about writing. So, do you like writing, reading, or speaking?
I like speaking better because I I've just always been a talker, um, but talking's harder now with my fluid overload. But I'll share a story anyway. I can share it, but I'm a talker.
And do you prefer ebooks or paperbacks or audiobooks?
I like real books, so I can turn a page. I'm old fashioned that way. I do have Audible to listen to books, but my mind wanders. So I'd rather hold the book and turn the page, and especially if it's a self help book, I like it to be paper so that I can make notes and highlight special things.
Great. So I'm sure your story and the roadmap that you're sharing in the book, which we're releasing very soon at the end of the month, will touch the lives of many and inspire and encourage many. So, thank you so much for being ready to share all those vulnerable moments in your life and uh, letting God speak through you and touch the lives of many. Is there um, some last words of advice you want to share with the viewers? And also, how can people reach you?
I'm on Facebook, Vanessa Bryson, motivational speaker and cancer survivor, and I just I don't want you to give up. If you're having facing challenges or a struggle right now, just know that you're not being punished. It's not a punishment that's come to you. Um, this was all part of God's plan for your life, and you need to walk that path with your head held high and focus on Him, and build yourself a strong support group. Uh, the people that you can be real with, the people that know your heart, and that will pray with you and for you when you can't do that for yourself. And I'll be glad to be on that team if you need me.
Thank you so much, Vanessa, and thank you, everyone, for all your comments. Because of StreamYard, we are not able to see. We just get the notification that it's a Facebook user who's dropping all the comments. So I think Donna, Wendy, and all are joining live, but I can't be sure because it's not showing. So anyway, thank you so much for joining us as we spoke to Vanessa and heard her touching, inspiring, encouraging words. Vanessa, we hope you recover fully and have a complete healing soon. And as you go to the hospital tomorrow, our prayers are with you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much for joining us today. Thank you.
Thank